Hello and welcome back to the Reapers. So we've got to do some training. As you saw, my boys didn't do so good the other day when we were doing anti-ship, and Cap doesn't know how to do anti-ship at all in the Viggen. So today is learning the Viggen. Now we're going to start off with Chuck's guide. I'm sure you're aware of the Chuck's guides that are out there, so we're going to use that because it's lovely presented and stuff. So stand by, and then we'll do the flying.
Yeah, we figured there aren't enough pictures in the manual to keep Cap's attention.
Exactly
so
right.
We are going down to the RB-15 anti-ship missile 68. Should say 2 or 3 RB-15F anti-ship missile introduction.
God, this looks confusing. Okay, you do your stuff, Blood. You far away.
Right, let's see. So we'll start on the left-hand diagram. As with everything in the Viggen, it involves waypoints. So what you're going to do is set up your waypoints to fly to where you need to fly as per usual. I generally put the target waypoint on the rough known area of the ships. Set that to a target waypoint and then simply fly your route and fly towards it. Then once you're flying towards M3, you're going to flick your radar on and you're going to put it to the maximum range. Probably fly about 500 meters. That is a good compromise between being able to see far enough and not being shot by things. And just wait until on your radar you get some nice black dots appearing, and hopefully they'll be around the area of M3. This is when you want to start setting up the waypoints for the missile.
I need to. Sorry, I've got to interrupt you here.
Yeah,
so it's got on the picture on the left. It's got Mike 3 is nowhere near the naval target.
Yeah, so in this case, they've set Mike 3 as the point at which you turn out and find the ships. So you can do this in a number of ways. Like that is simply a point to guide you to a location, and you could choose that location to be the ships, or you could choose that location to be a point on land in which you're going to turn out to sea. So it's up to you. It's how you want to plan the mission. And so far, we've put M3 or whatever endpoint it is on the ships because, you just fly towards them and you should find some ships at the end of it. There's some more complicated stuff you can do about if you don't know where the ships are and you're trying to find them, but we'll assume we know roughly where the ships are for this. So we've flown our course, we're flying towards the ships, and this is where the BX waypoints come in. So they are stored in a different location in the memory to the other waypoints. So they are different to the B waypoints. Like BX6 has no relationship to B6. And these have each have a special meaning, and you're basically telling the missile to do certain tasks at certain points. So we'll start at the back actually. So BX9 is where, imagine the missile hasn't found the target, and it's going, well, what do I do now? And it flies to BX9 and then detonates itself there. So if for example you're targeting some ships in a harbour and there's a town on the other side, you set BX9 to be back out to sea, so it'll turn around and explode out the way of any civilians. So that's very nice. Coming back to BX8, this is your target waypoint. It doesn't have to be exact because the missiles do have radar, but you need to have it in a region within at least a mile of the ships. It means you can get a good target. Then coming further back, we have BX7. So this is a course correction it's going to make shortly before heading to BX8. So this is it won't fly a direct path, it'll fly slightly off. And when it hits 7, it'll turn towards BX8 and try and hit the target. Coming further back, we have BX6. So when you launch, you're going to be at an altitude of anywhere between 50 to 2,000 feet. That's the release envelope. Meters, sorry. If you, for example, release at 1,000 meters, that's not ideal when you're trying to hit some ships at low altitude, because that missile's easy to blow up. So it'll fly to BX6, and when it hits there, it's going to descend all the way down to the literally, you can set this in some settings, but I think it defaults to sea skimming, so literally skimming on top of the waves. Trying to get as low as possible, trying to get underneath any anti-missile missiles that the fleet might fire. Cool, so then quickly running back forward, BX6, drop down, BX7, course correction, BX8 is where it's expect the target. If it doesn't find it, flies onto BX9 and detonates.
If you don't put
Happy so far.
If you don't put 6 and 7 in, will it stick to its default?
Yeah, we'll go through that. So what you are trying to do is when you find the target on your radar, you're going to set BX8. Now, when you set that, it's going to look to its memory and go, I don't have anything in 7 and 6, so I'm going to make it up. And it kind of works if you're going to fire pretty quickly. However, BX6 and 7 are set relative to where your aircraft was at the time you locked BX8. So if you kept travelling forward and got closer and closer to your target, BX6 is going to remain fixed, and it's going to become behind you.
Oops.
That's where we had the problems on Thursday. We saw the target about 100 kilometers away, locked it up, but you can't fire until you're 70 kilometers away, so we just kept going. And by the time we were there, BX6 was behind us, and the missiles turned around and went, well, this isn't right. And the moment they think something's not right, they'll detonate themselves for safety.
Right.
Rather than flying off.
So what? I'm trying to figure out what you actually did wrong then.
So the procedure we went through is we're flying towards the target. We see the ships on the radar. We type in BX8, lock that waypoint up. The computer sets 6 and 7 automatically. We keep flying, and those automatic points, which were set relative to where my aircraft was when I locked BX8, are now, I'm flying past them on my right-hand side.
So you should only lock the target then when you're ready to fire.
That is one option, but with some experimenting earlier, I prefer the other option, which is to simply adjust BX6 and 7 manually, which I'll show you how to do.
There's also a third option. If you know with reasonable accuracy where the ships are going to be, you can set all those waypoints up in advance before you even get there.
Yeah, so you can, as Stadl says, you can type the actual coordinates in beforehand. That's preferable when you are attacking ships in a harbour, because not only are they static, so they're not going to move, but you also have the advantage that when you're out to sea, your nav system's going to drift because it has no means to correct itself. And if you set the waypoints to be fixed locations, they are going to drift with the navigation system, and you'll miss.
I'm not convinced by this second method, chaps. The reason is I'm going to eventually give you fleets. I'm going to give you a big blank space of 100 miles by 100 miles where the fleet could be, and you've got to find it yourself. You couldn't set 6 and 7 in that case at all.
No.
So, all right. So we might as well go through how you set waypoints at all. So in order to access these funky BX waypoints, all you have to do is there's a special BX button. So let's scroll down to the next page. And can you see, I think it's on the bottom right-hand picture, the BE 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points. You see on the far right-hand corner, just above LMAL, is BX. So when you are in act, pod, and out, you press BX, and then on the data panel, you press the button, the number corresponding to the waypoint you want. So you press BX.
I've not caught up, chat. I've been looking for BX. I'm on page 69.
Yes, and look the bottom right hand corner. So that's going to show you the data panel and the B 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1E,
1E, 1D.
Yeah, that's the one. So it's pointing to different checks.
Roger, found it.
It's referring to different checks, but we just obviously want a picture of the cockpit.
Roger, got it.
So you see BX. Press that button. Next, you press the appropriate number on the data panel. So 8 is the one you'll do first, and then that's going to select that BX8 point active on your nav system. Then all you have to do is press T1 to activate editing of that waypoint, and you'll see on your radar there will be the little crosshairs of where that, or a circle of where the waypoint is, and a crosshairs of where you're going to put it to. Simply slew it with the radar stick over the target, press TV to lock it, and you're done. And that's changed the waypoint. And you can then do this for BX7 and BX6, respectively. But if you set BX8 first, it'll do that automatic placing of 6 and 7, and then you just simply adjust them. Right. And what I tend to do is select BX6, and simply, if you go left, it will change the angle it is from your aircraft, and just scroll it left a bit, like 20 degrees, and that'll put it easily within scope. Even if you travel 20, 30 kilometers forward, it'll still be in front of you.
Great. I've not used the radar yet, but we'll figure it out.
I haven't used the radar yet.
No, never done the radar.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
Be fun.
I highly recommend not adjusting BX7 first. I did that earlier, it didn't go so well because I went past BX6. And once it's off your radar, it becomes a pain in the ass to set up.
I tend tend to edit BX7 because it's really close to BX6. And if you change 6, you have to change 7, otherwise it will do a weird route and it will kill itself. Okay, are you happy with how to set the waypoints and what they do?
Copy.
Marvellous. What do we want to go to next? So this is a very complicated missile with lots of cool modes that you can do to change it. We're not going to go through all of them because I'm fairly convinced you'll forget all of them. But what you need to know is there is a data address inside the computer, and then each position of the number you tell it. So like the first number will mean something, the second number will mean something else, etc. And you type that number in, and it essentially like going down a config or some settings in a program and saying I want option 2 and I want option 3, etc. However, they do give you some handy presets, and if you type in 8 4 zeros and 2, so I believe that's address 80, and then the data is 0002. That will give you a preset, which is the one that I've used all the time, and it works pretty well. It is multiple targets, medium search area.
Yeah, that's the one I use as well.
Yeah.
It should be said that there's 2 different settings for multiple targets. One of them just looks for the closest 3 targets from the search area's center and selects one of them randomly. The other one looks at all targets it can see and selects one of those randomly.
Yeah, we'll stick with 8 4 zeros and 2. That's the number you got to remember. What's the number, Cap?
8 4 zeros and 2.
Excellent. So all you need to do to set this up is, first of all, master mode needs to be in nav initially. We'll change it to ANF shortly before firing. You want to type your code in, so you go to tact 8 4 zeros and 2. Make sure you reset that to ActPos out. Then you want to go to, do you know the 2 switches, the Siri and Impulse switch?
Negative.
Right, so let's find you
I see a picture, Norm and Siri.
Yes, so if you go on, I think it's page 69, at the bottom left-hand corner, you can see the weapon selector. And you can see the 2 switches. So Siri is fire both, Impulse is fire 1 missile. And you also have Valve and Standard. Valve is pilot inputted data, which is when you want to do some manual setup of your missiles. But since we're using a preset, that needs to be the Standard. So first switch up to Siri, second down to Standard. Happy? Weapon selection needs to be attack. And I'm pretty certain that's the setup done.
Simple as that, boys. Right, okay. This is the RB-15, is it?
15F, yes.
Is this the long-range one?
Yeah, this is 70 kilometers.
Right, excellent. How exciting.
The other one is a lot easier.
Good.
So to quickly run through it again, weapon selected to attack, you want Impulse and Standard on the 2 switches. You want to type your data into 8 4 zeros and 2, make sure you reset to ActPos out, and put master mode to nav. That's the stuff you want to do on the ground. So you've got all the weapon setup done there. Then we're going to take off. We're going to fly our waypoints. And then if the target waypoint M3, let's say, is over the ships, we're going to fly towards that. Flick our radar on. So that's to mode A1, which is the wide search area mode. And we're just going to fly forward. And you'll see for most of it, just a white screen, pretty much. And when the ships appear, they'll be quite visible black dots on the screen. And once you've found them, that's when you want to start doing the setting up of your missile waypoints. So first of all, you press BX and then 8 on the data panel. Slew it over the ships, lock it up, and then you want to adjust your BX 6 and 7. So BX 6, adjust, BX 7, adjust. And then once you're happy with those, you'll want to go to ANF, and you'll get a little timing line that will appear on your HUD. Let's see if they have a nice picture for us. Yes. If you go down to page 72, see that? And if you look at, see where it says 3H, target in range, you see there's those 3 vertical lines and then a horizontal line. When the horizontal line is beyond the 3 lines, you're out of range, but the moment it shrinks beneath them, you're in range and you're clear to fire.
It should probably be mentioned that this won't always be there. It only pops up an estimated 40 seconds before you can actually fire the missile.
Yeah, so if it's not there at all, you're out of range.
Yeah, you can take a quick look as well. If you've reset to BX8, which is your target, then your navigation distance meter will display how many kilometers you're away. And if you're more than 70, you're not firing that thing.
So I've got to set up radar slew as well then. Okay.
Yes. We'll see if we can practice on the ground. I don't know if it'll work.
List of keybinds you have to set up. We can go through it later on.
We'll try to do as much as we can on the ground.
Hello and welcome back. We're now in the cockpit. Watch how fast Cap can start this baby up. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She's starting. Cancel the warning. And it's not starting. Fucking brilliant.
Have you got the high pressure fuel valve open?
I think
you unlock the throttle.
I may have unclicked something by accident when I was aiming. I accidentally clicked the canopy instead of something else, so let me just go back a bit.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay, boys. I got it. I found the one. I missed. Yep. Okay, we are starting up, you mofos. I'm going to go oxygen up. I'm going to go Slav SI, Hodge, uncancel the warnings. Not going to touch the computer yet. That, my friends, is a started up Viggen.
By the way, since
did you insert the data cartridge?
I'm doing that now.
Last time you kept calling it Hooch, you kind of triggered the Swedes in our community, I think.
I did.
I think technically the pronunciation is Hooch.
Oh yeah, they got upset, didn't they? So you said Hooch wrong. It says Hooch. It says fucking Hooch. It's German. It says Hooch.
No. Hooch.
Oh, give me something. I can't change. I'm too old. You German mother.
You said you speak German. You know the
yes, I do.
Sound then, right?
Yeah. So umlaut is So that's all I know.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's one language with an umlaut in it, so it must be German.
Yeah. Look, I'm starting on my Viggen. Let me start up my bloody Viggen. We're in Siri. So these are the mighty RB-15 Foxtrots, are they?
Hang on, you need to check that you definitely selected the long ones, because if you selected short, you'll get 04s.
I've checked, it's fine.
So, what, okay, who makes these? So you're going to tell me the Swedes make these as well, these missiles? Or are they rip-off? Are they rip-off for someone else?
No, I think that they are Swedish made, I think.
Well, I never. Oh, I'm going to turn this stream on just in case it helps someone.
So do you want to make sure you have all your keybinds set up and are familiar with them?
Roger, hang on, I'm just going to do that as we speak. Right, escape. Just controls.
Lad, did you say?
Go sharp. I've got radar stick up, left and right and down. That's all I want, yeah?
Do you want to give me a minute or so with some in as well, then I can actually tell you what exactly the controls are called?
But I'm running out of buttons on my stick.
Do you have T1 and T06?
Yes, because I use them for the Mavericks, don't I?
You don't need anything different to what you got from the Mavericks.
You don't need... Well, I mean, you do need the radar.
Yeah, you need the radar switch.
So, what you're gonna need in terms of the radar cap are two buttons called A1 and A0. They allow you to turn the radar on and off.
So turning the radio off and on, I probably don't want a HOTAS for that, to be honest. Can I have a... I'm gonna have to press the button for that.
Yeah, keyboard will work. But yeah, it's radar A1, A0.
There aren't any buttons, so I'm going to have to press something on the actual... Where's the actual button on the fucking whatever it's called?
It's not on the cockpit.
Give me strength!
It is, but you can't click it.
Right, brilliant.
It's a 3-position switch, which, yeah, you can't really...
Okay, right, we've got A1, A2, A0, A1 and A2. I guess I need all of them, yes or no?
You don't necessarily need
A2. So A0 is radar off, A1 is radar on in, I think it's PPI mode, and then the second one is in B-scope. That's only for short range.
Roger, I've done... Okay, I've got 0, 1 and 2 all ready and with no conflicts.
Further, you will want to set up the radar range.
Stand by.
You won't need the radar slew, I don't think. I've never really slewn it. Nah.
Of course.
Okay, increase and decrease? Is that what we want?
Radar range increase and radar range decrease, yes.
Copy, done.
Personally, I set up. That's maybe not 100% necessary usually, but I found it very useful under certain circumstances. Radar MKR gain decrease and radar MKR gain decrease.
That is really useful.
Stand by. Well, what? Okay, hang on. To figure out what can I put that. Okay, stand by. I'm gonna go.
Again, it's something you won't need very often. Just put it somewhere on the keyboard.
Yeah, it basically set the contrast between dark things and light things.
Anything else?
So, just earlier today, for example, I had some small little ships that were apparently jamming, and without actually changing the radar game, they were very hard to spot. Further, you already have and know your slew controls, right?
Yep.
You're also still familiar with your T1 fix and TB fix buttons?
Very familiar with them. Very.
Good. You should be good.
Oh, I haven't turned my hard on. And I'm going to do this without any help. Hard. I can do this. You turn it on by clicking...
Your HUD just comes online.
Anything blood? Engine don't say anything blood?
No, it's because it needs nav mode.
I'm trying to resist it. Oh, he's got it! He's got it!
Caps, beautiful. Oh, and ejection cable. But I'll ever need it because I'm good. Ejection done.
I thought you might forget that one.
No, we don't forget that.
I've forgotten a few times.
Yeah, usually I take off and then look at it and go, what's that? Oh yeah, dope.
I'm on my way in. I'm just, I had to restart because my track hire wasn't working.
You don't have a Viggen Blaster, you can't afford a Viggen on your wage.
Oh, sure I can. I'm a GS10.
Oh yeah, I forget.
So, before we do anything crazy, let's show Cap how to radar. So, first flick to position A1.
One on, I now have a radar and it's scanning wiggly. I didn't even know the Viggen had a radar, but that's cool. Right.
Sorry, is there a password for this?
Yes, but you can't say it because I got the screen, so type it in the wonder box.
Right, so Cap, can you see the radar screen?
Yes, it's going... cool.
You can see that it has lots of lines that go out. I believe each line is... yes, I think each line is 30 miles. It's on a logarithmic scale, so the closer it is to you, the less precision you have.
That's useful. This is very 60s and retro, by the way.
Oh yeah, it's great. If you do this at night, you get this sort of ominous green glow in the cockpit.
An F-15A would
anyway, can you see in the bottom right-hand corner, there is a number that should read 60.
Copy 60 in red.
That is the number of kilometers that you're looking out to. If you press your increase range...
Yes, it works.
It will go to 120. If you go all the way down, the closest you can do is 15.
What do we want?
We won't need that today, because if you're 15 kilometers away from the target, something's gone horribly wrong. But we will leave that on 120, because that's the kind of distance we want to be looking for ships at.
Roger, 120.
We expect to see them once we hit about 100 kilometers. So what we're going to do now is I want you to select waypoint BX8. Data cartridge is in the slot. Look back over to the computer. We want ref Lola.
Oh, I was in the wrong mode, you losers. Okay, 9 0
9. Press LSSKU. Wait for the display to turn to all zeros. Reset the act pause out.
Waiting for zeros. No, I forgot to press it in.
Input. You need to put it into input.
Alright, let it self-cancel. In 9 0 9 9. Let me see. Error. Wait.
Did Cap just set 909900 and a bunch of zeros as his BX?
Okay, I've done it.
Point.
Now what do you want me to type in?
So, you have done that. Now go to act, pause and out so you don't overwrite all your waypoints, because that's very awkward.
Roger. Let's
now
just
go to B1. Do you get B1 coming up?
Roger, and I've got a distance?
Yeah, what's the distance?
Kilometers, 13.
That's what I've got, and just go through B2. So this is a check, we won't go in great detail, that you should be doing really when you put waypoints in, is basically a sanity check. Make sure they're not anything crazy. You go through, okay, right, how far away is B2? Right, it's about 40 kilometers. Where is it? Okay, so it's bearing, that's 270, and from your flight path you should know, yes, 270 makes sense. And you go through 3, 4, 5, etc. to check that they're all actually in sensible directions.
Okay, what's next then?
Okay, so we want to set, P-Man, you said waypoint 4 should be our target. Yeah, well, race point, but it'll take us in the right direction.
Yeah, if you fly to 3 and then to 4, once you transit from 3 to 4, the target should be bang in front of you.
Alright, cool. So we'll set waypoint 4 to be our target waypoint. So go to tact, in, 9, and press B4. And that should change to Mike
4. We have now Mike 4. Yep.
Marvellous. And back to act, pause, and out. So your default position, you want to be in the habit of always putting it back there, because if you don't do it, you will cock something up. Right, now we want to do practice using the radar. So we're going to go to press BX. And we're going to press 8 on the data panel. Look up at your navigation display, it should say BX8.
Roger.
Excellent. So, now we're going to go through how to slew waypoints. I don't know what's going to happen here because they're on the ground, but we'll give it a go anyway. Your radar should be at the maximum range of 120 kilometers, and press T1.
Hang on. T1 is that?
Okay, so what should happen is there should be a little crosshairs and a circle pop up. However, because we are not near our mark point, I think it hasn't done it correctly. Because we're doing it on the ground, it's obviously not.
It's probably already set up, so it's actually outside of our radar screen. That's what's happening here.
Yeah, that's what it is be behind us. In fact, you can look at the display around the compass, and you can see it's about bearing 300, so it's behind us. So unfortunately, we can't actually show you what it looks like.
I'll show you how to do it. You ready? Watch this. Beep. This vehicle is reversing. Ready.
Now what you want to do is press. We'll go for B1 because it's close.
It says Echo Lima out the way at the moment.
Yeah, press T0.
Press T0. That is that way. Roger. And then we're back to.
Okie dokie then. So now you want to go to tact.
Roger.
In 9 and B1. So we're setting B1 to be a mark point. We'll set it back in a moment. But this is just to show you how to move waypoints around. So point yourself towards the waypoint. B1 with the code 9, which is to indicate it's a mark point.
So 9 first and then B1.
Yes. Yeah. So you're putting the data 9 in and you're giving it the memory address of B1.
Roger. And then okay, I've done that.
Right. So now you want to reset to ACPOS out as always. Point your aircraft towards the waypoint.
Annoyingly, still got Bravo X-ray 8 for some reason. It's upset.
Yes. So you're in ACPOS out. You want to select B. Just press B1, and it should say Mike.
Roger. Yep.
Okay then. So I want you to set your radar to be on the minimum distance. It should be 15 kilometers. So change the range. Right. Can you see a circle on your radar display?
Oh, on the radar display? No, it's just the usual on the radar display, nothing of any interest.
Okay, can you point your aircraft towards the little yellow tray on the compass?
That I can do. I'm an excellent driver. Yeah, there it is. Circle of death.
Okay, so park your aircraft, and I want you to press T1, and you'll see that all the lines have disappeared, but over the circle is a crosshairs.
Roger.
Now use your radar stick to slew it around.
Yeah, I can move it about, okay?
So imagine for a moment that in the middle of that there's a little black dot that's some ships. Place your crosshair over the imaginary black dot and press TV, and you'll find that the circle shifts to that.
Confirmed.
Yep, and when you press TV, it's a 3-position switch, it drops all the way back down to T0. So you don't have to bother resetting that. Yeah, and that's what you do when you've got BX8.
I can't get the crosshair back. Was it T1 to get the crosshair back?
Yeah, so T1.
Oh, right, yeah.
Crosshairs back, slew it to imagine some ships somewhere else, pick it, move TV, and you're done.
Just a quick note for Skay, just so you know, there are 2 other guys that are mock dogfighting. They're not engaging each other, so don't go shoot them down.
Cool. Yeah, I'm not going to shoot anything.
I love the way that in a simulator they're not shooting each other.
That's because they can't be bothered to keep respawning and starting it all up again, so they're just calling foxes and guns kills.
Okay guys, what's next?
One word of warning actually.
Okay, I think we'll do the arming procedure, and then we'll go and actually hit something.
Blood, I think we should tell Cap about what not to do with the T1 fix stuff.
What do you mean?
Okay, Cap, you can technically do what you just did with every waypoint, any kind of waypoint. The problem is, you really, as we just did, you only want to use it for target waypoints and mark points. If you're gonna use it for actual waypoints, navigation points that is, you will actually shift your entire navigation system instead of just moving the waypoint to different coordinates. Because that's one way to basically fix drift of the navigation system.
God. What?
Yeah,
Cap.
the short version is don't use it for waypoints.
Yeah,
What?
if your waypoint indicator has an M or a BX, you're safe. If it doesn't, don't touch it.
Right.
Happy?
Very. Now we've got the dials for the bombs, so I can do that bit. Where's the
Cool.
dials for
So
the RB-15?
let's start on the right. We want attack. You want the weapon release mode switch to be up in Siri, and you want the RB-04 or RB-15 release mode switch to be down to standard.
And guys, I've got attack. Then the next second dial. What do we want on the second dial?
Second dial is irrelevant.
Okay. We want Siri up. We
And
want
standard.
Val B
on the
down. Yep.
Okay, now we come across to our data panel. You want to select tact in. Can you remember the code?
Well, tell me what we're trying to do at the moment.
We are trying to set the preset on the missile.
800002.
That's the one. 8 4 zeros and a 2.
Oh, do you have to go in?
You do have to go in. Whenever you're inputting data, it always has to be in.
Roger. What? 1 2 3 4 2. And
Before you
then
confirm it, just check that you do in fact have that code selected. Just make sure you haven't typed too many zeros in.
do. And how do you? Is it LS to?
LS SKU, confirm with that. And what do you do after you've inputted some
Then
data?
I'm back to ActPos and output.
Good, because if you want to fiddle around with your nav system and you're intact, weird things are going to happen and you get very confused.
Roger.
Cool. And finally, you check that your master mode is in nav.
Master mode is currently in nav, yes, and I'm scaled down
So,
to 15 clicks at the moment on the
Just
radar.
remember, you want to fire the weapons in A and F mode, but we're staying in nav because obviously you want to navigate.
I've still got my circle at the moment on the radar screen. That's okay, isn't it?
Yes.
Because I've got that as
should
a
be fine.
mic 1.
Well, usually during
Have
the
you
mission,
selected
during
T0,
ingress-
you've just reset that.
Stand by. There is no B0.
Usually during
Yeah,
ingress
T0 is
mission-
in the,
Oh.
T1, T0.
Roger, we're good.
T0 to reset the switch. Cool, and press LS SKU to put yourself back onto the takeoff
Roger.
waypoint. Cool, so let's take the runway.
On a mission, last mission I flew the Viggen on, the real mission, I got tail strike as well, so you got to be careful with tail strikes on the Viggen.
Really?
Yep,
How did you do
genuine tail strike. It was, I was taking off with one of the other boys in formation, and we were heavy. Didn't have enough gas, enough power, and it just sunk back down, and I got tail strike.
There's 2 Viggens sat on the runway.
Yeah, that's me and Blasty.
Alright, are you coming with us, or...?
Yeah, I've already set mine up, so I'm just going to trundle along with you.
Alright, do you mind taking off, circling and then joining on the back?
We never used the ref button.
yeah.
Why do we not use the ref anymore?
The ref?
Reference.
It does it automatically the moment your nose wheel leaves the ground.
Okay.
Unless there's
Yeah,
a lot of wind or you're on a slippery runway, you don't need it.
Yeah, going back to the whole, oh, this doesn't do loads of stuff for you. It does lots of stuff for you, you just don't notice it. So it does stuff like setting the nav system up when the weight of the aircraft comes off the wheels. Oh, that's
Oh
very
dear!
awkward.
That's embarrassing.
Who's that?
Oh, that was me.
It's Blasty, not me. Not me.
Yeah, I
Wheel
fucking hope it's
steering.
not P-Man.
We'll cut that out.
How did you crash that?
I forgot to turn off nose wheel steering.
There is, you don't turn off nose wheel steering.
You can't, Blasty.
You can't. It's a rubbish excuse.
Alright, anyway, Blood, you can start taking us up.
Anyway, that's baffling. Anyway, right, report when set.
2 set.
3 set.
Cool. Stage 2 afterburner takeoff. We're gonna go wheels up, so that
Wheels
we
up.
make sure all our wheels come up at the same time. And I will call it rotate, and it's on the first T of tate is when you're going to be pulling. Also, make sure you set your pitch trim, because I keep forgetting to do that. It'll result in a smoother takeoff. Okay, brakes set, throttle up. Ready, go. I'm still struggling to see how you crashed. You have to touch literally nothing when taking off.
I don't know either. I
And
just started drifting off to one side.
rotate. That means we are flying the wrong way. We know that waypoint 1 isn't working, so we go to waypoint 2. And level off. Throttle to stage 1 now. Trim setup. And left roll. Throttle to 90% now.
Hey Charles, I see you.
Pick up.
Both still with me, I assume?
I'm biting your nozzle. I have been all the way.
I can't see you, but I think you're below my right wing, so... I'm sure I'll see you when we roll out. How far out to sea are these ships, out of interest?
They're just the other side of Sakumi.
Okay. It's just not like a static server. Me and Stahl had a practice and we had to fly a round trip about 400 kilometers.
Boom. Nah, they're not that far.
Oh god.
260 nautical miles.
P-Man, look at my flying P-Man.
Wow, that's real.
I'm wondering why you're so far away from. I'm wondering why you're so far away from
wings.
MiG-21's greatest enemy, the sun.
I can't see my goddamn HUD.
I'm going to show you how to really do it.
Yeah, well, I don't know where you are, but yeah.
Drop back a little bit.
Stand by. I'll go echelon off P-Man. Backing off now.
Yeah, I mean, I think going echelon off P-Man is basically the same as going off lead.
This is going to look great for the vid.
Can't see the goddamn HUD. Where's the HUD brightness?
You're going to say you can't see me for a second?
Oh, I can see you.
That's probably about all you can see.
Oh, second MiG-23 group active. I mean, it's so tempting to just wobble the stick a bit. Just
No, you let Spark fly today.
That's true, I could turn Spark off. That would make things real awkward.
Spark doesn't come off.
You can turn Spark off.
Really want to do an F3, it's not fair.
Where's... Oh yeah, I see Cat below, that's quite cool. Come on, Stahl, what are you...
Stahl's German, he refuses to play ball.
I can see
Lagging.
him.
I'm all lag into you guys.
Oh yeah, he's got
you do seem
stupid
to have had some
Wi-Fi.
problems with lag.
He's got Wi-Fi, he refuses to fucking do it properly. Awful man.
Well, you're the only person actually who's complained about that so far. Tender says he can see me fine all the time.
Tender's even worse.
What altitude are you guys at?
We're flying at 400 meters. It's supposed to be 500, but because of this damn sun, I can't see where I am relative to the horizon.
Never mind, I do tell you.
There's Sanaki. So, Cap, while we have some spare time, run me through what you're going to do once we've spotted the ships.
Right, well, the first thing we're going to do is turn our radar on. Going to set it to 120 clicks. Going to look for any black dots. And I still haven't ascertained whether we set BX6 or 7 up yet, so I really don't know.
You set BX8 first, the computer will automatically determine 6 and 7, and then you simply adjust 6 and 7, so they're in 10.
Right, well, adjusting 6 and 7, I haven't got a clue how to do that, so we're just going to
Same as setting BX8, exactly the same procedure, just a different waypoint.
But how do we adjust it, though, in like X and Y, though? It's impossible.
You can do it, trust me. It's the same way as doing 8. Okay, right, roll.
Oh my god. Don't you mess this up, P-Man.
Oh, P-Man won't mess this up.
Oh, I'm all over the place.
Yeah, it's looking pretty
Why
good.
roll into the sun?
You'll never make a horseman!
Oh, beautiful work, gentlemen.
Path indicator is.
Skate saddle on the right.
Roger.
Oh, I've got the HUD on full brightness and it's still not doing anything.
Stop whinging, Blood. You're the only guy not doing anything.
What do you... you say that, but my job... I know it's not as difficult as being on the wing, but it's to make sure that I'm as stable as possible and maintaining about 500 meters.
Roger. Make sure you don't get a heroin addiction or anything that makes your hands go wobbly. Otherwise it'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm blank on the sun, so I'm staying back a bit.
Women.
I can't even see my HUD, I'm just looking at blood.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Oh yeah, you guys don't need to see your HUD, you've got me as a reference
My
point.
entire world at the moment is P-Man's right missile. That's all I care about.
I'm looking straight down Blood's right wing. Actually,
Yeah, it's looking good, guys, looking good.
I'm actually looking 90 degrees out of my cockpit at the moment.
Oh god.
Yep, to tell you guys.
I can do that.
Good.
I sent a screenshot to Blood after our last mission of all I saw for like 2 hours.
Yeah. Great practice. Oh, they're great. I love that flyby. Oh, sure. Ships ahead. Tally.
No, they're going to be the friendly
Yeah,
carriers.
there's also friendly ships.
That's the, that's where we practice carrier landings and the like.
Great. Can't wait.
Yeah, no, Cap, you'll spot on the radar long before you see them.
Roger.
In fact, you should never really see the carrier group. You might spot up when you release your missiles, but before then, hopefully not. Right, let's go radars hot.
Radars on. 2.
So if you go down to mode, the minimum distance, 15 kilometers, you will see those ships in front of us on the radar.
Right, Cap's backing off formation because I will crash.
You won't see them for very long because we're turning your waves, so... Can you see the nice 3 big blots?
Kind of.
Can you put onto 15 kilometers? Yep, kind of is all you really get in this aircraft.
Yeah, I did see the 3 dots. It wasn't as beautiful as I was hoping, but...
Oh yeah, no, it is. You're getting the raw radar returns.
Cap's in slot, so don't go down, Charles, whatever you.
I think we have...
I'm on your right, Cap.
Roger. Ali?
So, waypoint 3 is way off inland, but I think once it's off our right hand side, if we turn left onto waypoint 4...
I'm on Mike 1, guys.
Right.
Have I fucked up?
Just press the appropriate button.
Roger, going 3. Cap's on B3, and I get about 35 miles. You know what I mean?
Yep, mill. Mighty Swedish mill. Right, let's increase the turn. Pitching, ranking even.
By the way, that Blood's so nervous when I'm sitting on his right wing.
To be honest, this is normally how I roll in formation to keep it nice and easy for everyone.
Oh, beautiful shot.
Like, the lead's job is to be as smooth and predictable as possible.
I'll tell him that to Rock one day.
To?
The lead of the horsemen.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's... you know, it's
smooth
probably
as
easier
butter.
than flying on the wing, but it has different tasks associated with it. I might ask.
Watch out, Storm. Cat's right underneath you.
You're getting some nice footage, Cap.
Oh, you won't believe it. I'm looking at your rivets. Don't usually get to do it this close, so taking the opportunity. You're very stable. Just don't go down.
That's what she said.
And wings level.
God, this is going to be fun.
Nice and smooth and steady. No erratic movements. And we're level. Oh, that's got very messy very quickly.
Hey, get a speed check. I'm right behind you. I'm just trying to catch up.
Hey man, what is this?
Trying 900 clicks.
He's having
It's
a break.
like a huge
Chasm.
valley approached in front of between us.
Cap's going to sneak in.
No, I said that I'm going to go a bit wide so because you're going to be doing your weapons thing in a minute.
Yeah, we're going to spin round and I won't go all the way to waypoint 3.
I can't do my weapons thing if I'm looking at you.
And we'll go right roll. You go for a 45-degree turn on this one, keep it nice and tight.
Well, I thought this was Viggen training, that was aerobatics training.
Bit of both. We always do. I force them to do formation all the time. That's why we
really?
get good.
So, yeah, I mean, on top of it being very nice at air shows, formation's very useful because it means that you can operate as a group as opposed to individual aircraft.
Well, as I also keep telling the guys, it's actually really good for dogfighting. No one will ever believe me, but I guarantee you it is.
It trains you to get in control of your aircraft, isn't it?
Yep. And also, when you dogfight, you want to get on someone's 6 and you actually want to fly in formation with them. You want to match their speed, match their path.
Yeah, and outside of that, if you act as a single unit, it means that if you ask for instructions from, you know, your DCI, he doesn't have to give 3 or 4 separate bearings. It just gives you one bearing from the lead, and that's pretty much.
Did anyone watch the latest online debrief? You can see how far the Blues have come in their aerial tactics. It was pretty sick.
What, you mean Thursdays?
Thursdays, if you watch the debrief, it's quite long, but I analysed the air-to-air fight, and the Blues did a chainsaw, beautiful 6-man chainsaw, about 20 minutes brought from the
Yeah,
top.
it was nice to watch.
Very good. Yeah, Roger.
I was really DCS, so I was like watching the whole thing play out. I was like, oh shit, they're doing a chainsaw!
Yeah, finally they're learning.
Cool, let's go noses hot now.
2,
3.
120 kilometers.
So you should be able to see all the radar returns from the ground to the dark.
Roger. So what am I looking at? Buildings?
So yeah, it's nothing as complicated as that. It is literally every time you receive a radar return from a surface, it will come back on that display as a dark spot. If it's a long line, that means that it's something big like a mountain and you can't see behind it. If it's a single dot, it means it's like a unit on the ground where it's got a return, a strong return from it, but it hasn't blocked the area behind it.
So could it lock an oil rig by accident?
Yeah, I suppose. It doesn't really lock things like a...
It must do. You lock a ship up.
No, what you're actually doing is you're locating the ship on your radar and then placing a nav point in the same place. So it's less locking it up and more adjusting your nav system.
You see, the missile basically has its own INS nav system, and it also has its own radar, so it's doing all the tracking and locking on its own.
Yeah, so it's like a toned down version of the Viggen's nav and
Must be an expensive missile.
I mean, it's cheaper than a ship, let's put it that way. Which is the idea. It might be an expensive missile, but you're hitting hundreds of millions of pounds worth of military equipment, so you can spend a couple of million on a missile and still be cost effective. Whereas, if you look at the war in Syria, where we throw away a £500,000 missile against a £2,000 pickup truck, if you look at the economics of it, ISIS is technically winning. It's just we have a lot more stuff to throw.
Getting a lot of beeping. Is that my RWR?
Yeah, it'll be stall behind you.
And can I tell the difference between a missile firing and a radar?
You don't get missile warnings.
Brilliant.
So the way the RWR is telling you a lot of information, but in a slightly
Well, this is a 90s.
complicated way.
This is a 90s aeroplane. Surely it can tell me if a missile's been fired at me.
No, it's a 70s aircraft.
No, the AJS37 was 90s. It says in the manual. I read the manual.
It had an avionics upgrade, but I don't think that was part of it. So the way the RWR works is that you can hear, first of all, the sound it's making, the frequency of the beep. That is the frequency of the pulse repetition of the radar.
Well, that's not much use.
So
I want to know how far away the baddie is.
yes, but it will tell you what type of radar it is. If it's a really low, deep sound, it means it's probably a ground radar. If it's high-pitched, it's probably an aircraft or a missile.
Right.
So, you know, I'm supposed to open the Mirage. There are lots of modes you can put your aircraft in. And then also the gaps between it are how often you're receiving that pulse. And if it's like a ground radar that's spinning round at a fairly slow pace, it'll be a beep, beep. Whereas an aircraft radar that's locked you up will be boop, 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 because it's scanning more quickly. So you can tell when you've been locked up, but unfortunately it won't tell you if a missile's coming. Okay, just gonna do right roll.
If it's on a not much cap, you can turn it to silent.
Yeah, there is an option to turn it on to lights only.
Right next to your pilot in the horizontal panel, right above your lights. There are two large and two small
wings
knobs.
level.
And the front one of the two smaller knobs you can turn to the center position, and it's just light but no sound.
Okay. Okay.
Right. Let's get our heads in the game. So I have radar contact on the ships.
Cap has nothing that looks like a ship.
So it's quite far away. It's near the far end of the display. You should see. So mine looks like they're jamming of some kind. But there is a quite distinct black dot about 110 kilometers
So
away.
that's a ship then, is it?
It is indeed.
Obviously, right? Okay.
Once you know what you're trying to look for, it's quite easy. Oh yeah, it's a really nice return now. There's a clear black dot right ahead of us.
No, suppose one
Okay,
with
so
the IFF, have we?
no. All you're doing, there's nothing complicated about this radar. You are picking up radar returns, and it's telling you whether it gets a message back or not. That's
right,
it.
Let's do it.
You're just watching to see if radio waves bounce. So BX8, ACTPOS out. Hang on, I've got to do that right. BX8. So you want to select BX8. Now you want to slew that waypoint over the top of those ships.
Fucking hell, blood. How do I get BX8? I'm panicking.
BX and press 8 on the data panel.
Roger, yeah, I got it.
Right, now slew that over the ships.
Stand by. I have to go to T1?
T1, slew, TV to lock up.
That's the ship's convoys. Hang on, I've got to get back.
There,
What range are you reading it at?
They're sub 100 now.
And what's your azimuth?
Dead ahead. They are bearing 295.
Right, yeah, roger, got it. Okay, slew.
Okay, now we just need to check BX6 and 7, so BX and...
I haven't done TB lock. Do you want me to do TB lock?
Yes, you need to confirm the waypoint.
Okay, I have TB lock.
Right, we're going to BX6, that's way up to my side. So I'm just going to bring that closer in.
So I want to go BX6. Okay, that is right to the left. So where do I want to put that? Sharpish.
So you just bring it a bit further out, a bit further to the right. Doesn't have to be precise.
Right, I've done that. That's locked in.
Okay, now put BX7 and put it kind of near the ships, but not too close.
Bravo 7.
You want to pretty much put it between 6 and 8.
Oh, fuck! Hang on. It's okay.
Alright, make a mistake.
I put my reverser on somehow.
Reset. That's fine.
Doesn't matter in flight.
Doesn't activate in air because it's clever like that.
Okay, and that goes there.
Right.
Oh, I got 7, 8, and 6.
Now reset to BX8 because that'll give you your distance to target. We are 50 kilometers, so we're in parameters. Go to A and F. Okay. The timing line says we're clear to fire.
The timing line is below. Roger.
Yep.
Cab's ready to fire.
3 check.
3 ready to fire.
Fire in 3, 2, 1. Release.
I'm not over the water. I'm not over the water.
That's fine.
Doesn't matter.
Roger. Cap is missiles out.
Right. Leads missiles out. Okay. Let's do a left roll.
Oh, there's the missile.
You don't have snow.
Go. So yeah, we fired it quite close to the ship. We're about 40 kilometers away when we're doing our turn, but if you get slick at that, you can fire it at the max rate.
I'm going to put myself on autopilot and
we're
watch
going
the missiles. Okay, ready for bang bang. Good, ready for bang bang.
Okay, they're doing their little weave, selecting a target. 2.
Beautiful.
Bang, there's 1 down.
Jesus, some just missed completely.
Yeah, they went for the target that got destroyed, and they've just detonated themselves because they hit BX9.
Right.
Last one's out.
Yeah, so that can happen if they go for a target and it detonates and they don't see anything behind it. They'll go right. I fucked up here. We're gonna go off the
following the next one's.
So you can see they're now selecting a target. They're doing the weave. Found it.
And kabloomy.
Bang.
Beautiful.
So 2 ships down.
We did it. We actually did it. Romeo Bravo. Right, let's go and land, boys. Formation landing this calls for. And some champagne. Right, so for my interest, how would we get to base waypoint?
What do you mean base waypoint?
So the runway has a waypoint, doesn't it? And
yep, so we've got time, so we'll run through it. Just put the altitude hold on. Okay, first of all, you want to open up your kneeboard. Which is, I have it set, I think, is it right? Shift K?
Got it.
Okay, now you want to go onto the kneeboard and go all the way through to the air bases page. It's fairly near the end. Should be just after your waypoints page.
Roger, looking for...
We're going to Katese, so go down.
Got it.
Right, can you see next to Katese in brackets?
Yep.
9014, cool, so we've got that number. Now close your kneeboard, go to ref Lola in, because we're inputting some coordinates.
Roger.
And then type 9014.
Roger. LS.
And now confirm with not LSSKU, you see LMAL. It's to the right of the one you normally press to confirm things. Press that.
Roger.
Once you're done, out, act pause, and press LMAL to select landing point 1.
Cool. Oh, got another Viggen.
Excellent. And what you can do now is if you go to your left-hand side, can you see the radar stick?
Yeah.
Just to the left of it, there is a little switch entitled Passive Span, and you want to set that to Till, which is on. Got that?
No, I'm going to go autopilot in first. Right. So in front of the stick, or?
It's to the left of it. It's sort of between the throttle and the radar stick.
Got it.
Select that to Till, and you should see your radar comes on, but it's not actually on. It's only listening for... The radar is moving back and forth, but it's not sending out any energy, it's just receiving stuff.
Interesting.
And it also gives you your symbology, so it tells you... you should see a little circle with a line through it, and that is where the circle is where the runway is, and the little line... the direction of the runway.
So what's it? Oh, interesting. Is it listening to any beacon or something?
No, you can set it to listen to a beacon, but this is just doing it from memory.
Okay. Right, we've got nothing to lose if we die, so we might as well do a cool, sexy formation landing.
Right, before we do that, we're going to do a left roll.
Can you guys slow down a bit?
Nope.
Viggen power. Blasty, you should get a Viggen.
Yeah, but
What are you doing,
Mac on the runway.
1.82?
We only know one speed. Look at Stars, you're jerking all over the place while the other two are smooth. Go and get yourself a fucking cable.
Sorry. Problem is I have a cable, just can't use it over you know.
And wings.
Get a power line adapter like me then. It costs like £10.
Oh, the power line adapters. Yeah, they can be iffy, but okay. Visual with Katase. We're now going to descend down to 300 meters, and at this point we would call.
What speed do Viggens land at?
Too slow for you. Next week we've got to do a circuit training. By the way. Negative is in week 21.
Oh right, yeah. Wait.
To the right, did you say? Yep. I'm going echelon right off the P-man.
Okay, now's the time to get set up nicely. We're going to do a slight left adjustment, so we're powered on the runway, and then we're going to do a run and brake. So we're braking to the left, starting with whoever's on my left. I'm going to give the leftmost person permission to brake. You call out your number when you're braking, and we're going to do our left adjustment now. So left roll. Who's on my left wing?
Stall.
3.
And wings level. Stahl, you have permission to brake.
3 from. 3 in the brake.
Don't climb. Lead braking.
P-man braking.
So you kind of want to do this as 2 turns. Found that that's best to bleed off your energy. You want to be about 500 on the downwind.
Roger, I went too high.
Got to focus on your flight path indicator, keeping it on the horizon throughout the whole thing. You find you've climbed a little bit too much, it's alright, just drop it below, descend a bit.
Oh my god, the sun.
It's alright.
Cap's good 300. And speed's coming down.
And lead final.
Cap reverser out.
P-man turning base.
Yeah, when you're on the final stages of the final call out, either your gear is down and the reverser is on, and you're landing on alternate sides of the runway, so if somebody makes a mistake, you're not...
Stall, gear down the reverse side, landing on the left side of the front.
I haven't actually looked where the runway is. Hang on. Right, okay, got it.
Gotta look where the runway is. But not gear down, reverser on.
P-man gear down, reverser on.
What runway is it, boys? Does anyone know?
07. You shouldn't be asking.
About 09.
I haven't planned this landing, obviously. Right, okay. 2 now on final. 2 on final. Runway 07. Gear down and reverser on. For full stop.
3 is clear to runway.
Hey, that was a good turn. Speed is good. Speed is good. Trim. Is that smoke on the runway? No.
That was a very nice brake, Stahl. You climbed a little bit, but you rescued it, and yeah, excellent base leg.
Thanks.
You bastard. You have to add that one, Ishtar.
Of course.
I'll do a couple more hours in this thing when I add a new cap.
Roger.
Scale long final taxiway on the right.
Was that you just landed, Cap?
No, I'm man number 4 after P-man.
Alright.
Just the question, is the runway clear? If not, I'll land on taxiway.
It's definitely not clear.
Landing on taxiway.
Cap threshold. And the
What do
feather.
you think landing on taxiway? That's right.
Cap reverser.
Cap.
Yep.
I was going to say, you didn't have your reverser on, then for a second your burner's lit.
It went on, and then it decided. I heard it come on, then it went off for a bit. So it did slow me down a bit.
When you land, in fact, you want to have your brakes on before you even hit the ground.
All right, I forgot that.
Actually, it's probably not a good idea. You
don't need that. Just touch down, tap the brakes, so you get your nose wheel down. That moment you can engage the...
Yeah.
I mean, my handle is still pulled out. It never went in.
All I tend to do is...
Yeah, so, Cap, the way what the Viggen does is, when it first detects pressure on the left wheel, it will engage the thrust reverser. However, within 1 second, if it doesn't detect pressure on the nose wheel, it will disengage the thrust reverser.
So you really got to slam
that
front
down. So the technique is, you don't want to slam the front down with a stick.
That's my technique.
You want to land,
My technique is always roll high with the front F-15 stuff.
Yeah. So you want to do that with the front. The nose needs to be up. In fact, the flight path indicator has to be just below the horizon. When your rear wheels go down, you slam the brakes on, and that will force your nose wheel into the ground.
Okay. Now, luckily, I did actually detect that because I heard the sound go away, and I knew something was wrong. So you can detect it.
That's good.